Hello, my friends, and welcome back. In case you've missed it the last couple of days, I am walking you through a 7-part video series all about taking ownership over our healthcare, which is always important, but especially critical in times of pandemic, right? Or any type of a global healthcare crisis, which is kind of what we are going through at the moment. So the first day we kind of talked about modeling preparedness versus panic. Yesterday we talked about eating habits and how to really make sure that we are aligning our eating habits with the level of health that we'd like to see. Today we're going to be addressing this kind of very big question, which is, am I taking all necessary precautions to keep myself and me and my family safe, right? So this is a big question, and I say that because I think the answer is very different for all of us, right? Everyone's going to come at this exact time in our history from a different standpoint, and a lot of those perspectives and feelings and emotions are going to shift through the coming days, weeks, months, whatever that continues to look like, right? But what I want to do is use our time here together today to just bring up a couple talking points to help you maybe practice discernment in times of chaos, because sometimes it can be really hard to filter. We've got so much information coming at us. We're sort of inundated between the media and our friends and family and our communities and different sources that we're getting information from, that it can be kind of hard to pick and choose for us what feels right and what feels like absolutely necessary as we prepare ourselves and as we attempt to keep ourselves and our families safe. So the very first thing I think we need to talk about is the elephant in the room, which is social distancing. I will say that even though I feel like there was some palpable tension, a little bit of pushback initially when it came to this concept of social distancing and honestly forced social distancing for a lot of us, what has shifted over the last 24 to 36 hours that I'm noticing is really, really magical. And people are kind of banding together and understanding that even if we all have different opinions and different perspectives on what's currently happening and how much of it to believe, we are all under the same conclusion that by choosing to socially distance ourselves as much as possible, we are doing our parts as informed citizens to keep other people safe. And I think that's what's the most important part about social distancing right now. So if you are kind of working through that a little bit, keep in mind that there are so many documented cases of social distancing working very well during other epidemics in other places. And so what we're doing here in our country is kind of relying on those precedented events and carrying that over here. And it feels so weird for us because it's not anything that we've dealt with, at least certainly not in my lifetime. And so I think that's why it feels so uncomfortable for a lot of us. But what's really cool is, like I said, people are really banding together and coming to each other and helping each other out. And that's a really, really beautiful thing. The other thing I want to mention in terms of like precautions that are necessary, right? We talked a little bit yesterday about food and what you might want to be stocking up on. If you are going out and about in the world, you're going to work, your kids are still in school, depending on where you are located across the world. One little tip I want you to maybe think of or just be aware of: as you're out in the world, I would try to keep my phone in my pocket at all times until you can get back to a place where you're able to wash your hands with soap and water or use your natural hand sanitizer or whatever that looks like for you. Our phones carry so many environmental threats day to day, and that's always the case, not just now. But being extra mindful about that will be really great. We also want to make sure that we're trying not to touch our face, which I've seen a lot of memes floating around about how, like, I didn't realize how much I touched my face until I was trying not to touch my face. So something that you could very easily do, especially with kiddos in your life, is just, if you're in a store or something, ask them to keep their hands in their pockets, maybe give them a fidget spinner or squishy ball, something to play with so they're not around touching other surfaces and then touching their faces, right? If you are needing a recipe for a really quick and easy natural hand sanitizer, it's super simple. You just want to make sure that you have alcohol, at least 60% alcohol, and then you can use any kind of therapeutic grade essential oils that have anti-funk properties. You can see my most recent social media post for a whole complete list. I like to use On Guard, but you could also use lemon, oregano, thyme. There's lots of them that have really great properties. But the key thing is you want to make sure that you're using some alcohol, which can be very drying. So you might want to add a little bit of a carrier oil to that to make it easier on hands. And you could just grab it in a simple spray bottle or upcycle maybe one of your empties. This one's empty, so later today I'm going to be filming a video on how to refill it in a DIY version. So that might be something to keep kind of on you and spray down your phone, doorknobs of your car, steering wheel, things like that, just to add an extra little layer of protection to keep yourself safe. I think what's also important for us to really be practicing mindfulness through all of this. So if you don't have a mindfulness practice already, or you haven't done one with your family, a really simple place to start is just with the simple gratitude practice. And this is something you can do with your kids, with your spouse, with your family members, or just by yourself. When you first wake up in the morning, ask yourself to list 5 things that you're grateful for. And then do that a couple more times throughout the day. So a lot of people like to do it at meal times because that's kind of like a measure of a schedule. So at lunchtime, ask yourselves the same question. What are 5 things I'm grateful for in this moment? And they don't need to be really big. That could be, I'm grateful for my extra cup of coffee. I'm grateful for my liquid chlorophyll in my water to help keep my immune system strong. Whatever that might be. Grateful for technology to keep us all connected during this time. Institute some sort of a gratitude or mindfulness practice. There's also tons of resources out there online, on YouTube, for practicing mindfulness in your homes, especially with kiddos. So I highly recommend that you try to take advantage of some of those and integrate them into your daily life, just to make sure that you're doing what you can to stay grounded. If you are using essential oils, or you'd like to begin using essential oils, I recommend diffusing some oils that are going to help purify the air, for one, and also to help you stay grounded and surrender. So there are 3 oils that help us to address the emotion of surrender, which is what I think a lot of us, we're at this place where we see what's happening. We know there's not a whole lot we can do. So we're choosing to make empowered steps in our home, but we also need to kind of have this emotion of letting go and of release. So diffusing arbor vitae, wintergreen, and or sandalwood, or even that combination, would be really, really healing in terms of just emotional surrender to this process, which is also going to help you to discern what is most important for you in your life to keep yourselves and your families safe. So diffuse some essential oils that are going to help you to surrender. Practice mindfulness. Practice even just mindful breathing. Take 2 minutes, set a timer on your phone, and simply just breathe. That's also called the very beginning meditation practice. You can begin implementing these things in just 2 minutes from the comfort of your home without having it to be a big deal. The other thing we want to make sure that we're doing is cleansing our surfaces. So you could totally make your own. I like using the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate from doTERRA. Unfortunately, this is sold out, as well as our On Guard Hand Sanitizing Mist. Unless, of course, you're brand new to doTERRA, there is a kit that does have the On Guard products available to you. So if you would like to learn more about how to get that in your home during this time, please let me know. But ultimately, this whole conversation was just to jumpstart your awareness a little bit in trying to decrease the panic by taking measured steps that are most important for you to make yourself feel safe. So maybe that's stockpiling extra fruits and vegetables. Maybe that is simply taking a walk so you can get outside and you're not having cabin fever. Maybe that's taking advantage of some of the free resources that are out there, especially if you have kiddos who are at home. If you have kiddos at home and you find yourself driving yourself crazy over the next couple of weeks, please reach out to me. I do have a background in teaching. I am happy to jump on a 20-minute Zoom and read a book to your kids, to give yourself a minute to just take a break or take a shower or whatever that might be. Maybe we can get some sort of a consistent schedule going if we have enough people who are interested. I'm more than happy to do that. Call on your tribe. I think this is a really important opportunity and an invitation really for us to practice the art of asking for help and of receiving it. So many times, especially as women, we feel like we have to kind of lead the charge and we have to handle everything. But now is a really beautiful moment for us to rely on the people in our lives, rely on the village, right? Ask for help and practice receiving it as well. So I hope that today brings you a lot of peace. It is a very sunny Sunday here in Michigan. I'll be back tomorrow for part 4 of our series, and it's going to be a really fun conversation. Talk to you all soon. Bye.